Good morning. Call this meeting of the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners to order. Please rise with me for the invocation from Greg Swearingen from Royal Gorge Vineyard Church, followed immediately by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Greg, push that button on the front of that. On the mic?
On the mic itself there.
The very front one.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So Lord, we just ask for blessings on these county commissioners. We ask for wisdom and guidance and direction as they lead this effort. And we ask for this county to be one of the best counties in the nation as they lead us forward. And not only for them, but for their families, Lord, would you grant them protection as well. And we're so thankful for all of those first responders that we have protecting us, those willing to lay their lives down for us. So we remember them today, that you would bless them as well. And we just thank you that we get to live in this awesome county, and we just ask for your favor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present?
County Attorney Bellis.
Present.
County Manager Croce.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Victoria.
Present.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, we have a very long agenda in front of us today. I think many of our items won't take us a long time, but I am unaware of any changes that we need to make, so I move to approve today's agenda as presented.
Second.
Has moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I want to note on the consent agenda, there's 6 sets of minutes, approval of minutes. Kind of got behind on those with some personnel change and stuff, and so appreciate the clerk's office getting caught up on those. And we are not scheduling any public hearings today. And with that, I move to approve the consent agenda.
And the resolution.
Oh, and resolution
item
be number 1. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is our administrative and informational portion of our meeting. First, reports from staff and elected officials, and we'll begin with our county clerk for the November monthly report. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, it's the November report. December reports take a lot longer due to it being the end of the year. We have to cross our I's and dot our T's. But for November of last year, our total motor vehicle fees, sales taxes, and recording fees collected for November were $1,240,045.25. Of that, Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $715,447.13, which is 58% of the total fees, and is $75,315.83 less than last November, or November of 2022, I apologize. And year to date, for the year of 2023, for November, we are up $80,537.76. So we're right on par with where we should be.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Clerk. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move to accept the county clerk's monthly report for November of 2023.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have our county manager report, which is now probably for our next agenda. We need to say county administrator. Report.
Yes, good morning,
By
everyone.
Mr. Kirsch.
Good morning.
So I'll start off with the job opportunities that we have posted in the county. The Fremont County Sheriff's Department, we have a master control officer, and we have an ongoing posting for detention deputies. In our Department of Human Services, we have 7 vacancies posted. We have a social caseworker, an economic security technician, and the intake team, resource family specialist. We have a caseworker, 1, 2, 3, elementary age, ongoing. We have a caseworker, 1 through 3, expedited permanency planning team, an economic security technician on the family ongoing team, and a caseworker 1, 2 through 3 on the adolescent ongoing team. For more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, please go to our county website at fremontco.com, or you can call our HR department at 719-276-7410. Today is National Law Enforcement Day. This day is dedicated to peace officers to express gratitude to the brave men and women who put their lives on the line in an increasingly very difficult and dangerous public service that they provide to our community. It is celebrated every year on January the 9th. Considering the events over the past weekend in Fremont County, I just wanted to take a moment and thank our Sheriff's Department, Canyon City, and Florence Police Departments for the great work that they did protecting our community, and to recognize them for their professionalism in dealing with a very dangerous situation. And that's all I have today, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions for Mr. Croce?
Thank you.
Okay. Next, my colleagues. Commissioner Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of quick things I wanted to mention. First of all, congratulations to Mr. Croce. We have decided to change his title to County Administrator rather than County Manager, which I think is more fully reflective of the wraparound job that he does for us. He is involved in pretty much every single thing that Fremont County does, and we just felt as though the title of manager did not fully reflect that. So I just want to say congratulations and thank you for the job that you're doing. Well done. I also want to welcome someone new to the podium this morning. Eric Bellis is on our agenda here in just a few minutes to officially be appointed. He is replacing someone well-known to Fremont County, Brenda Jackson, who has spent literal decades here in the county as Fremont County Attorney. She's not going away, for those of you who are curious to know exactly what's happening. She is not going away. She still is going to be working with the county. Part-time, she's decided to move to part-time rather than full-time, and her new title, rather than county attorney, is as counsel. So we're very happy for both of them to be moving through the different stages of their careers that they are. So welcome, Eric. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Well done.
Well said.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
All right, Mr. Chair, thank you. Yeah, just real quick, legislative session is about to start next week in Denver, so we're already preparing.
Be afraid.
Yeah, we're
Be
already
very
preparing
afraid.
for the battles. We do know that last year 213, which was a land use bill, failed. Thank goodness, but we also know that they're bringing it back in small pieces, which is trying to take away local control of land use. So it could get very scary as it goes along. So we're going to keep close eyes on that and be at the table and do what we can to make sure Fremont County doesn't get sunk with the rest of the state. And I know there'll be other commissioners doing the same thing. So organization CCI, towards the end of the month, we'll be up with CCI. Again, Colorado Counties Incorporated, dealing with bills that are consensus with everybody in the state that belongs to CCI, and fighting for those rights of counties and those aspects too. So I'll mention the fire danger just so Clerk Grantham doesn't think that I forgot something. It is probably a little bit less right now because we're getting a little bit of moisture, but the trees are still very dry, so be very safe when you're out there and playing. Thank you.
Okay. Most of what I was going to bring up was the legislative session starting tomorrow, and CCI's efforts, of course, will continue in regard to the legislation that Commissioner McFall mentioned. The Senate Bill 213 from last year, that land use bill, has been talked about quite a bit over the last few months since the end of the last session. And it was a large, comprehensive, all-encompassing bill that made drastic changes to the structure of how land use was administered here in the state. It was basically was a state control power grab, if you will, of local land use authority. And obviously we're against such things, as is CCI and CML. because they're kind of in the same boat. And honestly, the municipalities may bear some of the brunt of those kind of changes because they're talking about more dense usage, and that will first and foremost impact cities. But I know CML and CCI will be locking arms on this one again, but they are going to try to take what was in 213 last year and divvy it up amongst multiple bills to try to divide and conquer, basically, and get at least some of their proposed changes through. Needless to say, we will be fighting on each and every one of those as best we can. It was CCI and CML that were the ones in the forefront that helped defeat 213 last year. And so we do have some successes, even if we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, numbers-wise, up in Denver with the current makeup of the legislature. But we do have some of our successes to point to in our efforts.
Well, and I think, Mr. Chair, if I may, that
Yep.
213 was headed to municipalities. It really wasn't going to affect counties
Right.
yet. We knew that once it got passed through municipalities, the counties were the next target. So that's
Right.
why we were arm in
Right.
arm with CML to stop that.
Exactly, thank you, correct. Other than that, reiterate the welcome to Mr. Bellis up here, and may God have mercy on your soul. No, it is good. We joke because we find that we have a kindred spirit in our senses of humor. So we enjoy having him, and obviously Brenda, with 30+ years in this building, she will still be here. But we look forward to Eric and his joining us.
And I look forward to the opportunity. I am certainly honored by the confidence that you've placed in me, but I have absolutely no illusion that I will be replacing Brenda. I will be succeeding her, coming after her, following her, but I will certainly never be able to replace her. And just want to make sure that everybody understands that. I value Brenda each and every day, and look forward to continuing to learn from her as she remains here with us part-time.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you for that. Just a reminder, the election is right around the corner, happening the beginning of March. For those of you listening in around the county and the world, Trump is on the ballot. It was certified to us. And as of right now, his vote will be counted. The Supreme Court will be taking up the hearing in February to decide if he is eligible to be a candidate for president. So we'll be waiting for that turnaround as it comes. But in the meantime, ballots are going to go out soon. So if you haven't updated your voter registration information, your address, please do that soon so you can receive your ballot in the mail. Because this is a primary, reminder that unaffiliated voters will get both a Republican and Democratic ballot. If you are an unaffiliated voter and you are returning your ballots, please return only one. If you return both and they are both voted, neither of your votes will count because you're only allowed to cast a vote for one primary ballot. So just keep that in mind as well. And like I said, the election day is March 7th, I believe. That's the second Tuesday in March, so, or first Tuesday in March. So keep that in mind as well.
Okay.
And more updates to come.
Okay, thank you, sir. With that, we will move to our portion of the agenda for citizens who wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on the agenda. We have a couple that have signed up to speak at this time, and we will start with John Zimmerman and Buffy McFadden. You guys would like to come on up?
Good
Are the
morning.
next contestants?
I didn't realize I'd be so close to you all.
No, I'll let you go.
Hi, I just wanted to address the council on the big battery storage project up on 8 Mile. I don't know if you're aware of it, but they're wanting to put 224 units of a 50 megawatt storage system right next to my house, which I'm definitely opposed to. One is the fire problem. It's in a fire shed. So we've spoken to the guy that came down, Zach Walker, the young man. He really believes in his project, obviously, but he doesn't have to live next to it. So I would like to see the county really look into this. This is going all over the county because we don't have regulation and we have access to the WAPA line. The WAPA line is the line that services all the hydroelectric power in the western United States. That's why they want to be here. So I think we need some real forethought on this. They're extremely dangerous. I know from our aspect with automobiles, when we have a wrecked EV vehicle, we have to place them 30 feet apart from every other vehicle because they can spontaneously catch on fire. It's called thermal runaway. And that happens from impact, just a shaking of the vehicle. So they're wanting to put 1 million pounds of lithium-ion batteries next to my house. I don't go for that. I don't think it's proven yet. It may be, but I think there's not enough regulation on it yet. I've spoken to the fire department. They tell me what happens if one catches on fire. We step back. That's not a good plan for a fire shed or the county or the city, for matter of fact. It's only 4 miles away. We saw what happened with the Royal Gorge fire. That traveled 7 miles in 4 hours. So Canyon City would be in a fire path within hours, okay? So it's just, I'm totally against it. It's because we don't have regulation. It may be safe, but I don't want Canyon City to become just like Cotter Corporation. I don't want it to become a super site. I don't want us to be the optics of the nation for the first issue having problems of this size. They're having them all over. They had 34 events last year. As we speak, there's one right now off the coast of Alaska. There's a container ship full of lithium-ion batteries. They had to sail 2 miles out in the ocean because they don't know how to stop it. It's burning. So we don't need that kind of optics. And I think that's all I need to say.
Okay.
As John, and by the way, my name's Buffy McFadden, hello. Congratulations, Mr. New Attorney, Chairman of the Board. And we have taken the time, and we must say that the Planning and Zoning Department of Fremont County has been very receptive and helpful in explaining process with us. And as you pointed out, zoning is an interesting creature of local government that I too agree should be left to local government. And there's a reason why it's left with local government, because we have very unique areas of the state. As we speak right now, the Mesa County Commissioners are looking at a moratorium for commercial solar. I would also suggest, in addition to what they call battery energy storage systems, they're abbreviated as BESS, as I guess is how it's pronounced, BESS's. Commercial solar should be included. And the reason I bring that up is because, as John pointed out, 8 miles, very close to a substation. We have the substation at the Hogbacks and the substation in Penrose, and I bet you all can recall some of those meetings of citing those substations. Putting a moratorium in place would give the very knowledgeable people in the Planning and Zoning Department, I believe, the time to develop the actual criteria for siting, reviewing the master plan to ensure it fits in with our Fremont County master plan, as change is coming at us very quickly in southwest Colorado. It would give time to consider the health, safety, and welfare of Fremont County citizens being protected, impact the facility would have on the physical, economic, or social environment of Fremont County, impact on the scenic corridor and the tourism corridor, especially the view shed up at places like 8 Mile, where we've seen a lot of commercial development specifically geared toward our tourism industry on the Beltway tour. Distance and separation from residential, agricultural, and tourism uses, buffering and screening, the need for a municipal water source. Obviously, you cannot use water on a lithium-ion battery fire, but the issue is how do you contain the fire around and in the fire shed. John pointed out the weight of the proposed battery project that's coming up. I think he did the math, and it comes out to be on 4 acres about 9,000 Teslas or EVs in one location. If that gives you a tangible view of what it could be coming. Environmental impact studies that would include archaeological impact, wildfire impact, and environmental impact. And I think this is really important. these battery storage units, when they have a thermal combustion fire, are toxic emitters. If you look at what Suncor, our only refinery in Colorado, is fined for by the EPA, many of those same toxic emitters are coming out of the refineries, come out of these battery storage units. There needs to be a reporting mechanism that should be, in my opinion, regulated by the Air Quality Control Commission. End-of-life planning for these projects, both for large commercial solar arrays and battery energy storage, and particularly a surety bonding. And if we are going to look at these as utilities, then it would be, I feel, in the best interest of Fremont County to look at whether or not we should invoke 1041 powers that counties are allowed to utilize. And with that, I thank you for your time and attention to something that's pretty critical. I did leave out one thing: the ability to have insurance, homeowners insurance in the area of such a project as well.
I have one thing to add to that. I talked to Diane Alves yesterday when she lost her partner, Dorothy Twillman. She came in the shop, we were fixing her car. Her insurance company just dropped her yesterday because she's in a fire shed. And we know it burnt around her house. There's nothing to burn there. If you put this up on 8 Mile, is there going to be any insurance available to anyone, anywhere? Because they're just looking for an excuse not to insure people. So that's something to consider also.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Ashley Sack. And some guy that's following you up here.
Do you want to say that on the mic?
I didn't say it.
Wow.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for letting us speak today. I know you have a busy schedule. Kyle and I, this is Kyle Horn, by the way.
Oh,
I'm Ashley
hey, Kyle.
Sack. Kyle and I are here today to do really exactly what Mr. Swearingen stated, is help make Fremont County the best that it possibly can be. Now, Kyle and I are obviously involved in recreation, and we all know that Fremont County is one of the luckiest counties in the state because we have an incredible amount of public land, both federal land, city parks, county parks like the Ecology Park. We have centennial ranches, and we have some of the most incredible wildlife in the state. So it is our job as a county, as a community, to help steward those lands into the future. And I believe that is why Governor Polis created Executive Order B 2020-008. It's fun to say, it's really official. Here it is. Governor Polis basically said exactly that. He said it's our job as communities and as a state to invest in protecting and stewarding our lands for our future generations. So across the state, what's happening is these regional partnerships are being formed. So that includes usually a collective of communities, a collective of counties that come together and say, what are our priorities for the future? How are we going to protect our wildlife? How are we going to protect our historic ranch lands and farms? How are we going to protect our wildlife? And how are we going to allow people of these communities to best enjoy our recreation properties? So within those larger collaboratives, however, it's important that smaller communities and counties like ours come together and create county-wide priorities so that we can then inform those larger regional collaboratives and then inform our state as to what we would like to see happen in our community. So we don't currently have a collaborative of ranch owners, agricultural individuals, wildlife protectors, recreationists, all of those folks. We don't really have a time and a place where we all come together and say, hey, what are you working on? What opportunities are there for us as a community in terms of grant money, in terms of projects, et cetera? We're all kind of working in silos at this point. So what we would like to do, and Kyle and I have talked to folks within the Bureau of Land Management, we've talked to other nonprofits that are invested in these exact issues, and we've said we would love to start coming together on a more regular basis. So in other counties, of course, commissioners are involved, and so we are here today to basically kind of inform you of what's going on and ask you for your support and ask you for your involvement. We're hoping to have our first meeting on January 25th, coming up very soon here, and that will be at 4:00 p.m. at the Hive. Everyone can get together in the same place, and we can start talking about how we could possibly create a county-wide group that will allow all those voices to be heard so that we can start making some priorities and then join our most, the regional collaborative that we would join. And my organization that I work for, Fremont Adventure Recreation, has been a part of for the last few years, and that's the Pikes Peak Outdoor Recreation Alliance, PPORA. So we would continue to be a part of that, but have some more specific priorities that we would then take to them, and then they would take to the state. So we wanted to ask if you had any questions, and just, again, in person, invite you to that meeting and hope that you will come with us. What you have in your packet is kind of just a draft, complete draft. Please know that this is just some ideas on paper to help us move forward as a community. Those are not set in stone. Those are not things that I say, this is what we're doing. They're not things that Kyle is saying, this is what we're doing. These are just some ideas to get us started. And then you also have a list of individuals who we thought could be involved in this process. And I hope you'll see that that's a very, not a comprehensive list per se, but a list that will include agriculture, recreation, conservation, and by conservation, please know that I don't just mean saving the snowy plover. You know, I think we tend to think of that as conservation. Yes, we're invested in preserving wildlife, but we're also invested in preserving those landscapes and those historic ranches and agricultural properties that we all know and love in this community. So please know that that means a lot of different things. So that's a lot of people on that list. For this January 25th meeting, we've included what we call the short list. So that includes kind of elected officials and some of the land managers and whatnot. And then as we grow and decide what we would like to do and what priorities we'd like to address first, we will start to include some of those folks on that list, kind of part of the larger community.
Yeah. And truly the importance is on funding. As we go look out for GOCO grants, or right now we looked at the Recreation District was looking at a National Park Service grant, which, by the way, we're not eligible for. We tried. But we're not eligible for, as well as talking with CPW and, of course, BLM. As we're going out for funding, the words that we are hearing from some of these agencies is Fremont County, it's the city would apply for their stuff, the county for theirs, the Red District theirs, and they view that almost as the Wild Wild West. The hot button word they like to use now is collaboration. If we are not all collaborating together to set that priority list, our chances of getting funding in a more competitive environment drastically drop now. 5 years ago, we could do it the way we've always done it. That's not the way we can do it anymore. So we are going to have to all try to work together. And it means that, hey, maybe the county has a pet project, FAR has a pet project, the rec district, the city, or together, okay, let's rank these. What is the priority for the greater good of the entire community? How can we prioritize these and then show that to these funding agencies and then start trying to pick them off as we move along? The exact words I heard as we were looking at project potentially in John Griffin Park, as well as the pool, some other things when we talked with our GOCO rep was, they need to know what the #1 issue in your entire area is. And that's not just Canyon City. They want to know what's #1 for everything, not just what's #1 for the rec district, but for the entire community, which means that they are really pushing the collaborative effort. And if you look at the latest funding from GOCO, just about every project that was awarded was a collaborative effort. And so we're going to have to get on board. Not that we haven't done that in the past, but now there's even more of an emphasis. And so the county joining us at this meeting as we get started is absolutely essential. And we would love to have you there as we try to make sure that Fremont County is not left behind when it comes to grant funding opportunities.
And what's the date and time again?
That's January 25th, 4:00 p.m. at the Hive downtown.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you, guys.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it. There's no old business today, so moving on to new business. This is my favorite part of the agenda.
You should turn on your mic.
This is my favorite part of the agenda.
Nobody heard that.
Would be helpful.
We call this the musical chairs portion of the agenda.
Cue the music.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun. The reorganization of the Board of County Commissioners, and I will just get things kicked off, and I will move that Commissioner McFall be appointed chair for 2024.
I second that, just with the quick note that this is something we do at our first meeting every January. We do reorganize the board. We all that way have the opportunity to not only serve, but to suffer as the chairman of the board of county commissioners for Fremont County.
It hasn't been moved and seconded. There is no further discussion. There is none. Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Doesn't really matter.
It's a done deal.
Motion carries.
And I will go ahead and do the motion for our chairman pro tem. I would nominate Commissioner Debbie Bell to be our chairman pro tem for 2024.
I second that.
Roll call.
And again, there is no discussion.
Nothing to be said.
Commissioner Bell.
I did not make the motion.
Yeah, I see that. Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion
He
carries.
knew it as soon as you said it, he just couldn't.
And with that, now begins the musical chairs. And you can ignore the names down there. Tony's going to change.
Tony's got it. He's on it.
I don't know what you're drinking, so you take that one.
You know, you
By
might
the
want
end of
it.
the meeting.
Thanks, Tony.
Well, thanks, I think. Before we move on to the next item, we want to thank Commissioner Grantham for his leadership last year. We had to stay on him quite heavily, but he did a pretty good job of keeping us in line and keeping, what we do is the chairman answers the calls to the newspapers and to the news stations and stuff like that, so kind of front and center for the county, and appreciate the job he did for us. And we've got a little plaque here that we want to present to you, and thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
All righty.
It's a little gavel, but
It's a gobble.
Yeah,
It's a
thank you.
gavel.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, moving on. The next item on the agenda is appointment of the county attorney. We've talked about this a little bit. And Ms. Jackson, who's been here for, I don't know if Dirt was even around that. She won't ever tell us for
She's
sure.
is she
I know,
listening?
I don't know, probably, but she's not here. But she has done a great job for the county. I appreciate all the knowledge that she has and will still be around to help with that knowledge for the new county attorney. So with that, I would open the floor for appointment of attorney.
Sure. Mr. Chair, Mr. New Chair. I move to appoint Eric Bellis as our Fremont County Attorney. And I missed, unfortunately, the agenda preparation meeting. And so do we have an official date of, is it
In
today?
about 2
January
minutes.
9th.
All
Yeah,
right.
2 minutes.
As
soon
of January 9th,
soon as we get a vote,
2024. Okey-doke. Effective immediately.
Yes.
And I would second that motion and said most of what I was going to say during this earlier. But we appreciate Eric and his knowledge and coming over with a certain set of skills coming from DHS as well and working in that department that will be very helpful to us here in the building and adding to our knowledge base when it comes to working with our county department. So I second the motion.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I would just say I think it's fair to say that we all look forward to working with you. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I just want to add that we have been working with you. It's not like you're new today because you were at DHS, and we appreciate the work you did for us out there. And we want to welcome your family too. So thanks for being here. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Would like to say anything, Eric?
Just thank you. I do appreciate the vote of confidence. I certainly am honored to be selected to serve the citizens as county attorney. I have no illusions that, quite frankly, I know all that I need to know to do this job. So I'm grateful to Brenda for agreeing to remain here on a part-time basis, on an of-council basis. Look forward to working with her through the next year at the very least, and certainly look forward to continuing to work with each of the commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
And welcome. All right, the time has reached 10 o'clock. We do have public hearings. We've got a lot of stuff to go through here. Some of it's not going to take long, but is there anybody here specifically for the public hearings?
Holly Harp.
Yes. So,
Oh, well, no, for the public hearings.
That's not a
you're
public.
not, you're not here for the public
You're
hearings,
here for the liquor license.
Yeah.
Okay.
which is way down the list.
I would say no.
Then we could
No,
wait.
okay.
say motor
So what we're going to do is we're going to hold those public hearings. We're going to get through this other business first because we do have people waiting for those. And then we'll do the public hearings when we get done with the regular business. So the next item of business is a resolution designating and approving the official depositories for Fremont County, Colorado 2024 will be resolution number 2.
Mr. Chair, I will make that motion for resolution number 2, series of 2024, designating and approving the official depositories of Fremont County, Colorado in 2024. This is one of the series, at least of the next 3 or 4 resolutions that are typical for our first meeting in designating where our money goes and et cetera, when our meetings are, et cetera. So I make the motion.
This particular one with your motion is Sunflower Bank of Canyon City, Colorado Surplus Assets Fund Trust, Colo Trust, and Bank of the San Juans Glacier Bank.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 4 is a resolution number 3, Series 2024, designating schedule and regular meetings for the Fremont County, Colorado Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Chair, this one is going to be slightly different from years past. We have always begun these meetings at 9:30 a.m. The question arose a few weeks ago as to why, and the answer really was because it's always been at 9:30. Well, this current board feels as though starting our meetings at 9 a.m., half an hour earlier, may be better for the public in general because sometimes our meetings tend to run a very long time. We have had very lengthy public hearings. We've had a series of public hearings. And unfortunately, we've seen people who were here at 10 o'clock for the public hearing who had to leave before they had the opportunity to stand and speak. So hopefully in making this change and moving everything up a half an hour, which means public hearings would now begin at 9:30 rather than at 10, that it will give the public the opportunity to come and to actually stay to make those comments, as well as get staff and everyone out at a better time for lunch, because when we don't eat, none of us do very well. So with that explanation, Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 3, series of 2024, designating the schedule for regular meetings for the Fremont County, Colorado Board of County Commissioners. And this does designate that the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of each month, our meetings will begin at 9 a.m. right here in this meeting room at 615 Macon Avenue.
And I will second that motion, Mr. Chair, with the added reminder that these are for the regular meetings, and occasionally we do have special meetings in addition to these. And occasionally we do have to move one of these meetings because the 3 of us are gone on conferences or whatever, especially in November when that usually happens. But I will second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 3, designating the regular meetings of Fremont County Board of Commissioners, 9 a.m. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 5 is resolution number 4, series of 2024, designating the official newspaper for Fremont County, Colorado.
Mr. Chair, I would make the motion for resolution number 4, series of 2024, designating the official newspaper for Fremont County. That newspaper being the Canyon City Daily Record.
I second that with the note that the Daily Record is the only daily, although it's 6 days a week and not 7, is the only daily newspaper we have here in Fremont County. And even though we will depend on our legal notices going to the Daily Record, we also will be sharing information with the Florence Reporter and with the Fremont Crusader, the other newspapers that are here in Fremont County.
Thank you. Any other further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 6, resolution number 5, series of 2024, designating the official posting place for notice of public meetings for Fremont County, Colorado Board of Commissioners.
And I will take this one, Mr. Chair. I move to approve Resolution Number 5, 2024, designating our official posting places for notice of public meetings for this Board of County Commissioners. Those official public places are 3. The first is on the website for Fremont County, which is www.fremontco.com for online notices. Printed notices will appear in the bulletin board in the hallway outside of the offices of the commissioners, which are on the main floor in room 105 here in this building. And the third place is the bulletin board located at the main entrance, which is the south entrance of the Fremont County Administration Building here at 615 Macon Avenue. In addition to that, I would like to let you all know that even though these are our official posting places, we also do a lot of media, we do a lot of online information, we do a lot of social media, so we also give a lot of information here in our meetings every 2 weeks, and so there is a lot of information that comes up, and we share it the very best that we can.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded for resolution number 5, designating the official posting places for the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we smoked through that. Now we're to number 7, which is a request of issuance of a malt venison spirituous liquor special events permit for the Music and Blossom Festival event at 4807 State Highway 9 in Canyon City. It will be January 26th from 6 to 11 p.m. And we have Holly Harp here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell us a little bit about your event?
Yes. So what we got presented with was with Tiffany with Marchand Ranch events. She was wanting to kind of do some community work, so she offered up her space to us. And our plan is to try and do some kind of a fundraising for Blossom. With increasing costs and stuff like that, we are going to try a new avenue of just starting like some sponsorships with the community and fundraising with the community. So this is kind of our first step into this. So we're hoping to do like a line dance lesson, kind of like fun dance night up at the Marchand Ranch to hopefully generate some business for her and some funding for Blossom.
Been waiting for those lessons, man. There you
I
go.
know, there they are.
Thanks. Okay. Any questions for her at this point?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you address a little bit the issue of training of those who will be serving alcohol, as well as how you will determine who is of age to drink and who is underage to drink?
Absolutely. So our plan right now is we do have a group of us on the board of Blossom that have been tip certified. I'm one as well, Cassie, Tanya. We all plan to be there to actually, we're only doing canned goods. It's a Yellowstone theme, which I'm not super familiar with, but.
You're missing out.
I gotta catch up, I've been looking.
We know a lot about
You need a
Yellowstone.
binge watch
You got
that.
the binge watch.
Yeah. So we're just doing like canned goods, so we're just gonna be popping tops and handing them over. And then security-wise, we're going to work with some of the Marchand Ranch folks, and then Ryan and Kyle with Catalyst Church that do some security. They do security for us with Blossom. They're gonna help us with parking, and then also as well checking IDs, and we're gonna wristband people coming in and out. And then as we serve from where we're at, if you don't have a wristband, you can't. So, and then we'll just have kind of people keeping track. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Need a staff report, please.
Nope. Is there a question in there? Sorry.
No.
Perfect. The clerk's office sees no issues with the application as all the necessary documentation was submitted on time. Application was reviewed by the county attorney. The health department recommend approval. We have not received any information or approval from the sheriff's office. We sent it December 12th of last year. But we recommend approval contingent on receiving the sheriff's report, as long as it has no issues with it.
Thank you. I've got a question for you, Mr. Clerk. So they have this posted, but this picture appears that it's inside of a building, which to me wouldn't be a good posting because nobody can see it. There's an exit sign above it. Is that where it's posted? Do you know where it's posted?
Tiffany posted it up in, I think, in the building. I think you're right. I
Yeah,
think it
so
was
nobody
towards an
can see that
outside
posted.
It's
door.
supposed to be posted in a clear, visible view as people are able to see it from outside the building.
Okay. Sorry, I assumed.
That one I would have to
I know that
defer
she had had
to-
events there before, so I wasn't super sure.
That one I'd have to defer to the county attorney.
Yeah, no, and that's the only problem I had with this whole thing was that exit sign. Tells me it's inside a building, and the legal posting should be where the community, anybody can see it.
That is correct.
Yep.
Should have been
I
posted on the other
apologize.
side of the door.
Yeah, so
Should've been on-
therefore, no one had the opportunity to see that.
Correct.
I know the location. I know that they might not have anyway. I get it, but to be legal and consistent, that needed to be where the public can see it, and it is not unless you're inside that building.
Okay.
Which puts us in a,
It puts us in a bind because
In a bind because of the day.
you are correct. The building that this place is located is not visible from the highway to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to see it is to either by event or by trespass.
either.
So, but I will leave that up to the board's decision.
Mr. Attorney, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Should we maybe have posted like what you were saying with the bulletin board out here then?
No,
Would
it needs to be at
because it has to be
the
at the
location.
location?
Yeah. It just needs to be outside on the location.
I assume that since this venue is having another event at the end of this month, that they're going to be having something else posted out there as well. That's going to be before us. We should make sure that they have it posted correctly
Can you maybe notify
for the chamber event.
It is the chamber event.
Yes.
I can notify the
that.
Yeah, the chamber for that. They're usually pretty up on things in that concern, but I'll reach out and make sure that they know make sure that the sign is posted on the outside.
I would say, Holly, you also might notify the owners.
Oh, yeah, we'll
that,
definitely be having a chat here.
yeah.
Sorry.
I believe this is the first time a special event has actually been out at
so,
this
too.
facility, so it may have been unknown for the property owners of the specific rules of that in particular. And they'll have to make sure that there's a way and available if they're going to continue special notices that there is available to be seen.
Now I'll turn to you, Eric.
Unfortunately, that public notice posting is a requirement. So I think we're in an unfortunate situation where what we're doing today is not proper
Right.
because there has not been public notice of it. So consideration, the difficulty is that consideration at this forum isn't proper because there has not been public notice
So
of the application.
I would question, can we find that because this is interior to a property, a personally owned property, that posting on the outside of the building would have, as the clerk mentioned, only been seen by someone attending an event there who would have seen it inside regardless, or by someone who was trespassing?
Before you answer that, I don't think it's a trespass. I think that is designated a county road.
Is that a county road?
It is in fact designated a county road.
It is a county road, so it
Okay.
would not be trespassing to drive in
Okay,
there,
all right. So,
unfortunately.
never mind.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
considering the date of the event, it's quite a ways away. You may be able to still have your 10 days notice and reconvene as a board either by special meeting or the next meeting, and by then we may have a sheriff's report as well.
When is our next meeting?
It's the
23rd.
23rd, so it's 3 days before this
So it's before
event.
this event.
If that's.
Yeah,
meets
because
the
I hate to do it just be on your
I think
legal
that can
advice,
work.
and I know it's not legally posted because it's inside rather than out. And it's not your fault if she posted
I
it,
totally
but
apologize.
I think it just needs to be done correctly because it's a liquor license.
It's a liquor license, and there's a reason for the public notice requirement.
And it has to be on the building, correct? 'Cause
Not
that's
necessarily. When
if
we
it's a
post a
county-
Pathfinder, we have a deal out in front that we post them in. So it doesn't have to be on the building, but it's got to be on the property where the
It has to be on the
event is going to
premises.
happen. So either on the building outside or out in front on a board, however.
Like next to their sign, their entrance in,
Yes.
maybe, if we.
That would
put
be up at the road, that would work as well.
Plywood and like
That would
taped
work
it
as
up
well.
on there, because then that would be more public view, right?
Yes.
Right?
It needs to be
Okay.
visible to the public.
I wouldn't use tape
That's
though,
the
it won't
issue.
last long.
Right, well, yeah, do, figure out,
Yeah.
I'll MacGyver something up.
Yeah. 90-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, that would be proper, and I think, thanks, Clerk Grantham, I think we have plenty of time. My suggestion is we table it to the next meeting, get that posted today.
Right,
That'll meet the 10-day requirement, and then we can move forward from here. Because other than that, the application is fine as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
thank you guys so much, I'm figuring this out,
Yeah.
so, okay.
Getting that posting, getting that fixed today, we also need to get that picture
Right,
replaced today.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
and then just email that back over
yeah.
as soon as I get that done.
And then maybe in the meantime, we'll have the sheriff's report by then as well, so.
I have a motion, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
ma'am.
I move to table this request for a malt, Venice, and spirituous liquor special events permit for the Canyon City Music and Blossom Festival, table until January 23rd, our next official board meeting.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry about that, but we need to do it the right way, so at
Hey.
least we've got time this time.
Hey, and
so-
I'm learning, so
Yeah.
I mean, now I know, and like I said, I will hop in my truck and go get that worked out.
Thanks,
right now.
Holly.
Okay, and we'll see you on the 23rd.
All right, at 9 a.m., correct?
Yes.
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 9 a.m.
All
Correct.
right. Thank you guys
Thanks,
so
Holly.
much. Have a
Thank you.
lovely
Thank
night.
you.
All right, moving on to item number 8 is a resolution, which would be resolution number 6. We just don't have a line for that one. Resolution number 6, summarizing the expenditures for each fund and adopting a budget for the county of Fremont, Colorado for the calendar year beginning the first day of January 2024 and ending the last day of December 2024. And we have our budget and finance officer, Sean Sutton. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Congratulations to most of you, all moving around.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
He really is the most excited, isn't he?
Grinning up here, isn't he?
So, yeah, I'll be, I guess, preparing or have prepared 3 resolutions. This is the final steps in adopting our 2024 budget. So the budget and finance team went through the budget process again last year, and I presented the 2024 budget to the commissioners the second week of October. A public hearing of the budget was available on November 14th, 2023, in which the public was given a presentation and the opportunity to speak to the 2024 budget. The budget was posted on the Fremont County website, so it could be reviewed by the public prior to the public hearing and sits there today. Today is the final step, as I said, in the process to adopt the 2024 budget. Total expenditures, as you'll see on the resolution, total $65,938,575. This is $1,896,336 more than 2023, which represents a 2.88% increase. So not bad overall, considering inflation that's been going on throughout the years, or over the, I guess specifically the last 3 years. I've also broken these out by fund, so you can see the Fremont County General Fund totals $19,573,554. Other large funds include Sheriff Department, which is our largest single entity here at the county, at $13,038,393,000. Department of Human Service at $10,664,465. Road and Bridge at $5,938,963. Capital Expenditure Fund of $6,846,000. $48, and then sales and use tax fund at $3,740,513. All the remaining funds have also been included in the resolution, as you can see. There have been a few changes since I presented the proposed budget to the commissioners in October to include updated salaries and benefit packages, in addition to adding a new line item to the general fund for the Penrose Recovery Plan. I'm requesting at this time, if it pleases the board, that the 2024 budget be adopted as presented.
Thank you, Sean. I'd just like to mention that typically we do this before the end of the year, but because of the special session that the legislature had and the property tax, I got several words I'm thinking of, but debacle.
Keep it clean.
It was in their special session, not only did they do what they did to property tax, but they moved the dates forward. So that's why we're here today to approve the budget. We've been waiting. Other entities as well had to wait to do their budgets because of the reassessment values. And as well as today, while we're approving our mill levy, I don't think we've gotten everybody else's yet to do, but those deadlines were pushed back because of that. So that's why we're doing this today. Anything else?
Just a note that we have been legal in continuing to do business and pay our bills due to the continuing resolution we did at the end of December.
Correct. Thanks for that.
As much as we don't want to sound like,
Microphone.
as much as we don't want to sound like the federal government. Yes. You know, that's why. I didn't move my sign.
Wrong place.
For the millions watching. That's for me. The special session, just to kind of give a little bit more detail on how we handled that, because we had to push this into January and the continuing resolution to fund the first 9 days of this fiscal year. Just so you know, before the special session, our projected assessment for 2024 was roughly $647 million in total assessment. The special session moved that down to $599 million. So a reduction of roughly $48 million in assessment. At our current mills, prior to the special session, we had a projected revenue on the property tax line of $5.4 million. The special session moved that down to about $5 million. What we have done in the interim since special session is decided as a board to reduce our mills by a $0.5 That would take us down to 4.75-ish in property tax revenue. It's a small amount, but it's in addition to what happened with the special session. It does take us down to where we are effectively staying level for the third straight year on our property tax revenues. And so I think it's important to note for all the millions watching and people across Fremont County that we're not making bank on the big tax bills that people are facing. We are literally staying level for what we received in 2023 and what we received back in 2022. The tax bill that you receive and the notice evaluation and special notices evaluation you receive from the assessor's office reflect a total tax bill that is all the mills across all the layers of special districts and county and municipalities if you're in one, in a fire district if you're in one, and all of those add up to the total tax bill that you receive, and we are a small portion of that. And we talked about that a couple months ago when we had our budget hearing with, like in particular, the Canyon City Taxing District 11A has all the overlapping districts, including Canyon City and Fremont County, and the fire district and the school district, which includes the bonds the mill levies for the bonds for RE1. And between the fire district and the school district, they make up 50% of your tax bill if you live in Canyon City. And Fremont County makes up 10%, actually less than 10% of your total tax bill if you live in Canyon City. And I just use that one as an example. The Fremont County portion of your tax bill might be a little bit higher if you live out in certain areas of the county where you might not be in a fire district, or you might not have some of these other special districts that overlap on your tax bill. Bottom line is, we are doing what we can for our small part as the county to get your tax bill as low as we can, reducing it that $0.5 mil. And we certainly hope that that will be beneficial to who it needs to be beneficial to, even though it's not a great deal of overall money. But we are keeping our revenue level. And we're, like I said, we're not making bank on this vast increase in individuals' property tax bill. Quite the contrary. We're going to do our best to budget accordingly with rising costs. Everybody has rising costs at the grocery store, and every time they go to anything that's retail or anything, even and service as well. We are facing the same increase in costs, but we're going to keep our revenue level and do our best to manage our expenditures and manage the taxpayer dollar.
And still maintain services.
And still maintain the services that we can, yes, absolutely. With that, I will make the motion, Mr. Chair, to approve resolution number 6, summarizing the expenditures for each fund and adopting a budget for the county of Fremont, Colorado for the calendar year beginning on the first day of January 2024 and ending on the last day of December 2024.
I second.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 6, adopting the budget for 2024. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 9 is a resolution number 7, levying general property tax for the year 2023 to help defray the cost of government for the county of Fremont, Colorado for the 2024 budget year. Again, we turn to Sean Sutton.
That was a great segue. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I don't know that I have to say very much at all, but resolution 2, so we received the final Fremont County assessed evaluations from the assessor's office, which total $559,723,026. The county's mill levy certification is 11.814 mills, which is broken out by 7.922 to the general fund, road and bridge at 0.850, Department of Social Service funds at 2.701, and airport at 0.321. Refund and abatements also totaled 0.0195. Total collection by these mills is $7,084,835, which is what is being requested today.
All right.
I do have a quick question. Our astute clerk just pointed out there's a typo, and I'm not certain exactly what the fix is.
Okay.
The total property tax revenue has too many thousands in it. See what I'm talking about?
I don't.
70894,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not certain what that should be.
It should be, yeah, it should be 7 million. There's an extra 9 in there. I
The 9 does
apologize.
not belong, okay.
Correct.
All
Yeah,
right, thank
7
you.
million, yeah, 984,835.
Okay.
984 or 084?
084, right?
084.
7,084,000.
084,835, yep.
Okay, remove the 9. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Chair, with that, I move to approve resolution number 6, summarizing expenditures for each,
Number 7.
oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm looking at the wrong,
Yeah, it is number.
I am looking at the, resolution number 7, levying general property taxes for the year of 2023 to help defray the cost of government for the county of Fremont, Colorado for 2024 budget year. And this does include that minor amendment of removing the number 9 from the thousands column in the total property tax revenue.
And I will second. Scroll down a little bit, Mr. Croce. There you go. That gives that shows where we're reducing that $500,000 right there. It is a temporary tax credit, and that does fall under some recent legislation, actually, where we can still put that back up to the voter-approved mills if necessary in the future. So that is the temporary tax credit, that reduction. And I second that motion.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, with that being said, there's still a lot of unknowns with this special session, so we got to play this year out and see what happens and what we do at the end of this year. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 10 is a resolution, resolution number 8, appropriating sums of money for the various funds and spending agencies in the amount and for the purpose set forth below, Fremont County, Colorado, for the year 2024 budget year beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024. Can we turn to Mr. Sean Sutton?
Thanks for catching the last error, Clerk Grantham. I appreciate that. So Resolution 3, this is the final step in the process. This resolution appropriates monies to each fund, which I've previously discussed in the expenditure resolution. The appropriated funds come from either revenues or the beginning balance of the which depends on the fund's circumstances. This resolution allocates the fund to cover the expenses set forth in the 2024 budget.
Okay, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, the motion.
Mr. Chair, I move resolution number 8, appropriating the sums of money to the various funds and spending agencies in the amounts and for the purposes set forth below County of Fremont, budget year 2024.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 8. Any further discussion?
Just noting what Sean already said, but we can budget all we want. If we don't appropriate the monies, we can't spend it. So that's what this does. As Representative McFadden would remember, we have to appropriate all that money up there, and we have to appropriate this. So this is what it does.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 11, certification of the levies and revenues. And again, John Sutton.
So yeah, this is the piece that Kevin just discussed. So annually, our department goes through and sends out 37 different requests to municipalities, special districts, and other entities for the mill levy certification. The assessor and finance department gather this information in a very short amount of time, which is typically due to us by the 15th of December. However, was extended to January 10th, 2024 due to the special session concerning the mill levy. There's a lot of compilation of work, verifying the numbers, and reaching out to stray entities that's currently going on for these certifications and or before they can be complete. I want to give special thanks to Sheriff's Hall, Dana King, both in my department, and then also a huge thanks to Stacy Seifert. As I move through this process for the second time, it's just, it becomes maybe a little bit easier. I remember I had to correct a few last year, and I'm hoping that none will be corrected this year. With that said, it is the final step, to compile, certify the mill levies from the different entities. The certificate is typically due back to the state by December 22nd. However, it was also extended due to the special session to January 17th. We have received 24 of the 37 certificates back at this point. Stacy or I have contacted the other 13 at this point and feel like we will have those in by tomorrow, 5 o'clock deadline, and then obviously to the state by the 17th as required. Tony Croce, County Administrator, will look at that and certify that for us. This was a process that was put into place a couple years ago to expedite so the authority was given to Tony to sign off on this, and then given to the commissioners and then sent to the state. So at this point, I don't have, a resolution's not required for this, so we'll get that, again, taken care of and over to y'all by next week.
Yeah, it is, by statute, we can delegate that authority, and we did to the county administrator a couple years ago. Just to kind of make it easier because of the communication between you, the assessor, and him. And we don't have a resolution yet. Do we still need to approve the certification?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Right.
entertain a motion.
Sure, Mr. Chair. With that, I first would like to say thank you, Sean, to you and your staff for all of this incredibly hard work. This budget year has been a nightmare for all of you because you did the budget, then you had to redo the budget, then you probably had to redo it and then redo it again. And so we're quite confident in the work that you all do, and so I'm very confident with the action that we're taking today. So if you would pass along to your staff as well, our deep appreciation for everything that you all do. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve this certification of levies and revenues.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Just to add to what Commissioner Bell said, this started way back in August. That's how long it takes to do the budget, and typically done before the end of the year. So appreciate the work you've done on it and keeping us looking good here. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Sean.
But I would also just like to thank all of you that were involved in the process. Again, being my second year, I hope that it went a little more smoothly. Tony, thank you for your assistance, and then the department head and other elected officials that were involved in this. I couldn't do it without them, so thank you all.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
All right, we move on to item number 12, which is resolution number 9. Series of 2024 concerning the disposition and abandonment of property held by the county. I'm going to turn to County Attorney Bellis.
The reason that this came up is because from time to time, a county department ends up in possession of some property that actually may have some value or some utility to the county. The county cannot find the owner of that property. Specifically, if a county department, for whatever reason, finds itself in possession of personal property, the owner can't be located. This board does have the authority to determine the disposition of that property. So several of our neighboring counties have ordinances, have policies, have county resolutions that deal with this sort of property. It's pretty clear that Fremont County is not seeking to take people's property. And one of the things that the commissioners have made clear is that this applies only when the owner of property cannot be found or the property cannot be returned for whatever reason to its rightful owner because it is illegal property to possess. So this resolution will allow basically elected officials and county department heads who come into possession of that property to determine whether they believe it is in the interest of the county to retain it for use if it cannot be returned to the owner. This does not apply to real property. It does not apply to anything that there's a more specific provision of law that deals with, for example, motor vehicles. If there's a motor vehicle title, this resolution would not apply to that. However, in the event that there is useful property out there, and there is some right now, specifically there is some property that is held by the sheriff's office. It was originally owned by a business entity which has since ceased business operations with no successor entity, and that property could be useful to the sheriff's office or to other county departments from time to time. This allows the sheriff to make the determination that that property is useful and notify the county administrator of a desire to retain it.
Thank you. All right, any comments or questions?
I think just to emphasize what Eric said, on the county is certainly not looking to take people's stuff.
Right.
This is the last thing on our mind, and we had lots of discussions on this, about that very thing. Part of my time up north was dealing with issues like civil asset forfeiture and always wanting to make sure that we get stuff back to folks if we can. And part of that was firearms, and part of our discussion. And I think it goes back to what you said, if it can't legally be returned because of, say, a filed off serial number or something on the firearm, that by statute, we can't return that regardless, and it has to be destroyed. The whole goal of this is to make sure that we can get stuff out of our yard when we can, if we can't find the proper owners, et cetera. So,
Entertain a motion.
then, Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve Resolution Number 9, Series of 2024, concerning the disposition of abandoned property held by the county.
I second that, just with a note of thanks for both of you for explaining this issue so well.
Yeah, we had several conversations about this too, as it was being written, and because we had some concerns, and those were addressed, and I want to make sure that everything was pretty clear. So, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 13 is the appointment of a new member of the Penrose Community Library District Board of Trustees with a term ending December 31st, 2024. This is to fill a term of someone that left the board.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is a vacancy fulfillment for the Penrose Library District, and they have requested to appoint this individual with her permission. So with that, I move to appoint the new member of Karen Ullman to the Penrose Community Library District Board of Trustees with the term that will expire on December 31st, 2024, with the note she will be eligible for reappointment if she so desires.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to appoint Karen Ullman to the Penrose Community Library District Board of Trustees, term expiring December 31st, 2024. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next one, item number 14, is appointment of a new member to the Fair Board with a term ending December 31st, 2026. We had a couple of previous Fair Board members that did not wish to remain on the Fair Board, which allowed some openings, and we've got a letter of interest from Mr. Cody West, who has been attending Fair Board meetings already and decided he wanted to get on the board, and has asked us for his consideration to appoint him to the Fair Board. So I would move to appoint Cody West to the Fair Board with a term ending December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Third.
It's been moved in a bunch of things. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, that is the end of the agenda, except for the public hearings. So we will get to the public hearings, which, number one is a request for, public planning and zoning has been working on helping us rewrite the zoning regulations from front to back, reformatting and many different things, which is going to be very helpful for everybody in the county, make it a little more user-friendly, and add some stuff that was not in there, took some things out that are not relevant anymore. The very first one here is a request to rewrite Chapter 2, which Planning and Zoning has recognized the need for review and update to the regulations. They have made no changes to the following Chapter 2 besides the new format and reference and new proposed chapter. So I'll turn it over to Dan.
Mr. Chair, if I could, before staff report?
Yes.
I would just like to clarify that they haven't helped us do this. They
have
have
done it?
done this.
We've asked them to do it?
100% on their own.
Good point.
We did indeed ask them to do this, and it's been a very long haul, an incredibly heavy lift. And so I just would like to give, give
That's right.
thanks where thanks really are due.
Thank you. Yeah, so here we have Chapter 2. We've been working our tails off. We're trying to do a last final push to have this to where we could have a complete presented project that we could be visiting in March for that formal adoption in April. So this month's kind of easy. Next month might be a little worse, and then we'll have March. So for Chapter 2, like Commissioner McFall said, we added in reference to a Chapter 9, which is a new chapter, And we added in the new residential 1, 2, and 3 zone districts and the high-density residence zone district, and took out a couple things that no longer applied because we're removing them. So this was just kind of house cleaning and a little bit of formatting on this one, and no real changes.
Okay, any questions for Dan at this point? This is a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing. If there is anyone who wishes to speak on this request, now is the time. You saying no?
Not
I don't want to
everyone.
talk. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and ask commissioners their wishes. Ooh.
Sure. Go ahead. Mr. Chair, I move to approve this request from Planning and Zoning for the rewrite of Chapter 2, noting that minimal changes have been made and they are typically of a housekeeping nature.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Again, these will all be put back together, all these requests that we've done over time, and we'll revisit the entirety of the changes in March for approval in April. Is that correct?
Yes, so
The date we set?
the request for today is for an adoption date, I believe it's April 15th.
I think so.
But all of the chapters put together that you all have voted on will be presented one last time prior to that formal adoption date.
Okay, item number 2 for a public hearing is a request to rewrite for Chapter 5, General Requirements. Again, the Planning and Zoning has recognized the need for review and update to the regulations. They have made a few changes, deletions, and additions to this chapter. Now I'll turn it back over to Dan.
All right, so I'll just kind of scroll through a bunch of the changes, and then we can have a discussion. So this is the general requirements section of the regulations. We changed some of the wording on kind of like housekeeping thing. We used to have special development requirements where what it really is, allowed uses requiring a permit. So we just kind of made it a little easier to understand. We added in the requirements for agritainment, which is a new use that we've added in to try and accommodate some people in the community. Under the development requirements, we broke down a contractor's yard 1 verse 2, and farm and ranch hand quarters and limited winery, that used to be in the uses table, and it had the explanation of its requirements in the uses table, which is not where it belonged. So we kind of did some house cleaning and brought the requirements of that and put it in the correct section. We referenced some other, we did some work to the other development requirements. We kind of renamed that validity of permit and suspension or revocation and scheduling and permit fees. So under the actual uses on this one, accessory dwelling unit, we added that underneath dwellings because an ADU is a type of dwelling. So housekeeping, we compiled all the different types of dwellings and put it under one heading. So when you refer to a dwelling, it could mean these various things depending on what it is. One thing we are proposing that's a bit of a change, we're proposing to up the size of the accessory dwelling units to 1,250 square feet. What we've been noticing over the past year and a half or so is that a lot of people want, say, 1,100, they're at 1,050, they're hitting like maybe 1,200 square feet for their ADUs, and they're just over to try and accommodate what they want to be living in. So we noticed that kind of a roadblock we had is we had ADUs maxed out at 1,000 square feet. So we either had to deny the permit or tell them they had to go and redesign their entire ADU over 50, 100, 150 square feet. So we thought it'd be acceptable to go up to 1,250 square feet for a maximum on ADUs. So that's one of the changes we're proposing. We have the requirements for agritainment in there. I'm getting to one thing here. So contractor's yard. We had some discussion during the Planning Commission meeting over the contractor's yard. Specifically, one person from the citizen wanted it to be more clear about the type of vehicles that are counted. And so there was some discussion about passenger vehicles, use for the business versus personal vehicles versus machinery, SMM. So we were a little more clear in how we described the vehicles and the equipment that could be on site. So we tried to clarify things. Then I'm just scrolling through, trying to hit the highlights. So those, for continuation of use, we kind of clarified that. Another thing that came up is under building permits. And the current regulations reference building permits, and they had some verbiage in there. We had had a conversation with the building official, and he gave us some verbiage that he thought should go in there. The question that came up at Planning Commission was, should we be explaining building requirements in a portion of our regulations, or should we reference to see the building department for requirements? It completely makes sense. The question was posed to me, can you explain the building department's regs? And quite honestly, I couldn't. That's not my department. So it made sense to just see the building department for those requirements. So that was if this board chooses, we can take out the, 571, 572, 573, 574, 575, and 576, and just under that have it see the building department for these requirements. So that would streamline things, and that way if the building department ever chooses to change their language, we don't have to go back in and change ours. So that's up to the board. It kind of seems like a smart one, but let's see here. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on is just some of the things that were removed in the current regs. Give me 2 seconds. There's a lot to scroll through.
Page 21.
Yeah, I'm trying to get down to her. All right, there we go. So some of the things we touched on, used to have some weird language for like restoration. If it's a non-conforming building that's damaged in a fire or other cause, the replacement of cause is greater than 80% of market value, that this and that, you may be able to replace or you may not. If you had a structure there, even if it was non-conforming, you should be able to rebuild that structure as it was. I didn't really feel it was our place to be trying to determine the valuation of it and what percentage of value of damage. If you had it and it was permitted, even though it may not fit in that area, you should be able to rebuild it. So we felt that was good for a good alteration to make. We kind of took out the alteration of non-conforming business uses that basically said how you can expand non-conforming business uses and change the non-conforming business use that was there. And we really felt that if you have an existing non-conforming use, that's acceptable. But the pathway to be changing existing non-conforming use to a different non-conforming use that may have a different impact you can have what you currently have, but we kind of wanted to limit it where it was there, right there. Non-conforming dairy farms, we do not have any more non-conforming dairy farms. We don't establish what is an unsafe building. So we just kind of took out some of the stuff that kind of didn't apply, streamlined stuff a little bit more. So that's the basis of Chapter 5.
Okay, thank you. All of these changes, trying to make this easier to build homes as well as get rid of stuff that is not relevant anymore. So appreciate that. Any questions for Dan at this point?
Not a question, just the fact that, as you just said, I also really do appreciate the efforts to make things easier for our constituents and to make it simpler to do business here in Fremont County, whether that business is adding an ADU, buying a new home. All of the changes that I heard you mention make it easier for the folks that live and work here. I really like the change of the new maximum square footage for ADUs. So it just appears to me as though a lot of thought has gone into this, and we really appreciate all your work.
We've been working pretty hard up there.
We know.
So Dan, just on that last point you were making on the non-conforming use and the, where is that in the?
In the current regulations?
Yeah,
Page 44.
Yeah, so that'd be alteration of the non-conforming business use.
Alteration.
That's 5.7.8 in the current regulations.
okay. Was trying to find it at the time and was not being successful. And we're talking about, what I understood is you were talking about situations where a non-conforming use or a non-conforming site can be, if there's a destruction of the property, like say due to fire or.
Okay, so that's for the restorations. That would be 5.7.5. So yes, so
That's-
5.7.5 reads, a non-conforming building may be restored whenever necessary or desirable to the use of such building or structure. But if a non-conforming building is damaged by fire or other cause, and the cost of the replacement of the building is greater than 80% of the market value of the building prior to being damaged, a future structure or use on the property shall conform to the provisions of section 5.7. If the cost of a replacement of the building is 80% or less of the market value of the building prior to being damaged, restoration must be started within 12 months or of the destruction and completed within 24 months of initiating restoration. So we now have it that a non-conforming building may be restored whenever necessary or desirable to the use of the building or structure, and we kept the restoration start time and the deadlines for rebuild.
Okay.
But we took out that whole 80%, and that just seemed exhaustive.
Yep, good,
Yes. Agreed.
just good. Yep.
Any other questions at this point?
Nope.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone who wishes to comment on this section of Chapter 5, rewrite of Chapter 5. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and remind the commissioners that there's a couple of decisions. One, taking this stuff out, adding these other things, but also that adds a 1,250 square feet maximum, plus the portion of the building department. Do we have what he has in there about the building department, which will possibly change, and then we've got to change that regulation again, or just have them defer to the building department in that section?
Well, Mr. Chair, I can do that in a motion.
Okay?
I believe the change to the 1250 is already in the changes included in here. or-
Yes, so we
Okay.
have that one included.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, my motion will be to approve the changes as made in the rewrite of Chapter 5, General Requirements. In addition, I would move to approve the Planning Commission's recommendation to remove the section on building permits with just a reference to the building department.
I second.
Okay, I agree. It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, the last one is a request for rewrite of Chapter 7, which is a Board of Zoning adjustment. Planning and Zoning has realized and recognized that review and update of the regulations. Staff has made no changes to the following Chapter 7 besides a new format and a reference to the new Colorado revised statute. And again, I'll turn it over to Mr. Victoria.
All right, I don't know if I have much to say past that. Yeah, we gave this one a facelift, and the revised statute changed, so we changed the regulation to cite that. And that is it on this one.
Any references it there?
Yep.
Any questions for Dan?
A question I have doesn't specifically concern Chapter 7, but do we have additional chapters and public hearings we will be going through between now and March when we see them all again?
Yes, there'll be one last round where we'll be presenting a couple chapters. I believe it's going to be like the zone changes, SRU, CUPs. So there's going to be a couple chapters still to be presented. We have been taking notes and along the way for things that could be improved, even on what's already been improved. So yes, there'll be one more time we meet to present new information, and then there'll be little tidbits along the way when I present it as a complete package one last time.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right, this again is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone who wishes to comment on Chapter 7. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to approve this rewrite of Chapter 7, the Board of Zoning Adjustment, with one minor addition of a statute reference as well as the new formatting.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve Chapter 7. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, and with no further business before us today, we are adjourned.